Hello, my name is Serita Baysmore. I am a student at Liberty University. I am currently studying HSCO 511 in the topic of group dynamics. Within this particular project, I explored the group dynamics of communicating with parents, of how to get past the generational gap. So my theme for this particular project was communicating beyond the generational gap. In this particular project, I sat with 5 adults, 4 females, 1 male, and we discussed in Beaumont, Texas, from 7:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. at a Hilton Garden Inn in a small area of the dining room, various topics of the generational gap. Within this group, the 4 ladies, I had one who was within the 25 group range, mid-20s, and the other 3 ladies were from mid-30s to mid-40s, and the 1 male was within the mid-30s range. And it was very interesting to see the difference between gender and how parents communicate with their children, because the way the father viewed his description of what his children would describe him as was very, very different from the way mothers described. Father felt as if his kids felt like he was understanding them, he understood their lingo, where mothers seemed a little more protective and a little more loving. So it was very interesting to see the difference between the genders and their dynamic with their children. What I feel I guided the group well and provided relevant material for the discussion. Within the discussion, what we reviewed was a chart that talked about the traditionalist to the millennial. And in this particular chart, it talks about the influences for each generation, their work ethic, how they view something as retirement, how a millennial would view it versus a traditionalist, a baby boomer, Gen X. So we discussed those things. We discussed, as an icebreaker, the slang of yesteryear and the slang of today. And we kind of talked about opening up the group, how each parent felt their child viewed them. And as I said previously, it was very interesting to see how a male could describe his children versus what a mother would describe her children. So it was pretty interesting to have both genders within this group to discuss these things. I actually believe the discussion was great. I learned a lot from the participants, and their cohesion was really, really well put together. I had only known 2 of the members personally, one being a high school classmate and the other being my sister. And then the other 3 members I had just met that day. Due to over-recruiting, my original participants for the proposal weren't able to make it. So through over-recruiting, I did meet my goal of 5 participants, and I was able to interact with 3 individuals that I had never met until that day. So it was a very successful progression as far as I could see as a leader. We progressed really well. The cohesion was great. No one overtalked anyone. It went smoothly. So I was able to guide through listening to their thoughts and their feelings, and I would guide each member through what I heard as a summary so that we can continue on to the next topic and transition easily. So I feel I did pretty well in that arena of transitions, and hearing each member for what they were saying and giving them the information back to let them know that I heard them through summarization. My takeaway from this is that I really did learn a lot more from the group members than I did in my research. For instance, we talked a lot about the members felt that gaps could be attributed to the way someone is raised in the North versus the way someone is raised in the South. So they felt there was a regional or a cultural difference between the generational gaps, which was very interesting to me. And I could see as we viewed the video how they would feel that way. As the gentlemen on the video, both gentlemen on the video that we reviewed were both from the North, where the participants in my group were from the South, and they just felt there were distinct differences between how someone could be raised in the northern hemisphere versus the southern hemisphere. So that was very, very different, and I learned a lot from this particular interaction. So that would be my takeaway, just having a broader scope of my research before going into a group setting. And learning how to guide members more effectively. I didn't have the issue of people over talking one another, but I did notice that it was easy to get off task as maybe another member brought up something that was kind of off topic, but still in the same arena. So I would want to be able to effectively hone the members back in to exactly what we're discussing. So that is what I took away from my self-assessment as far as the group leading portion was concerned. Topic was great, discussion was great. It was just me learning how to effectively bring everybody back is what I need to focus on. And I would like to do that through being a student of more group leads, to learn how a more mature leader would focus the group again, as Corey and Corey does in their videos. So I felt that was very important that I continue to educate myself in that area. And I enjoy presenting this topic and receiving feedback from each member through SurveyMonkey. I did present each member with demographic survey as well as an overall feedback survey, and I received great feedback from both of these surveys, so I felt that was very helpful as far as material. I did send them home with material to continue reading, the millennials' perspective of the baby boomers and the Gen X generation. So with that being said, I really did enjoy this particular group, and they did feel like it would be a great advantage to do this monthly and invite the teenagers. So with that being said, I thank you for the opportunity to lead. I look forward to further opportunities to lead and getting better and growing as a leader. Thank you.